Hello guys, it's Max here from Daily Market Movements. Welcome to another episode where today we're going to be analyzing the S&P 500 followed by the Nasdaq100 and the DowJones30 future chart on this very first trading session of a brand new trading week. Now, just before we get into the technicals of the charts, let's just quickly have a look at the economic data that we're expected to get this week. In terms of data, we're pretty light this week. We have a few important data releases such as S&P 500 Global US Services PMI that comes out on Wednesday. And then, of course, we have the core durable goods that's expecting on Thursday. But the most important piece of data that we are going to get is when Fed Chairman Powell speaks at the Jackson Hole Stock Summit on Friday. That's where we're expected to kind of, see how the Fed is feeling about the current stock environment, where yields are, etc. And I'm going to get onto that in a few moments' time. But, looking at the S&P 500, we're trading in green so far this morning. We're up 0.61% for the futures. But, of course, we still have a few hours now until the US market opens. And I wanted to post out this video a little bit early because I think this offers a fantastic selling opportunity. I think that any strength that we see, during the pre-market trading should be seen as a good opportunity to fade the market. Same here for the Nasdaq100. We currently find ourselves trading up 0.7%, and then also for the DowJones30, we're up 0.5%. So from my experience trading in the financial markets, whenever you are trading in the green after a week like what we had last week, when you go into the market open trading up 0.5, 0.6, 0.7%, like we see here across the board, these are typically opportunities to fade the market. You don't normally start to see a bottom forming in the pre-market trading. So I am quite skeptical about this positive start to start off the trading week. I do believe it offers a fantastic fading opportunity, and I just don't think that the markets have bottomed just yet. And there's a few reasons why. If we just quickly go over to my DeMark indicator, here is the S&P 500. It's the exact same for the Nasdaq 100, by the way, but we currently have a 8 count on combo, so we need a 13 count, similar to what we had here for a change in market direction, and we still around 5 to 6 days off from getting that 13 count. So that leads me to expect that we could potentially see some more downside pressure here in both the S&P 500 and especially the Nasdaq 100. Also, a lot of technical damage has been done last week, team. We've broken below the 50-day EMA here in the S&P 500. Of course, we snapped through it on the Nasdaq 100 and of course in the DowJones30, and we're just currently back testing that 50-day EMA now, which is a typical technical movement that you do tend to see. So maybe we can see a slight rally to going back to the 50-day EMA, but I wouldn't be surprised if we did turn back lower. Now, the good news, of course, is bad news. The bad news being that I don't suspect that we have bottomed just yet. The good news is that I don't think a bottom is too far away. And the reason I say this is because, as I mentioned at the start of today's video, we have the Jackson Hole Summit on Thursday and Friday. And on Friday, we are expected to hear from Fed Chairman Jerome Powell. And I just want to quickly draw your attention to the 10-year yield. We currently find ourselves trading at 4.29. So pretty much a yearly high here for the 10-year yield. And we are pushing up against the October 2022 swing highs that we saw last year. And what's very important to understand is, if I just quickly draw your attention back to February the 27th, when we're trading up around 4%, what's happened when yields were pushing up at these highs? Does anyone know? Let me tell you, Silicon Valley Bank collapsed. And, we've broken above this area now, and we're now kind of in unknown territory with regards to the 10-year bond yields. And this just basically means that we are at risk of something else breaking, whether it be a bank going under or, something else. Who knows? It could be a black swan event. And I think Jerome Powell will be very nervous about this. And I think that he may use the Jackson Hole Summit on Friday as an opportunity to try and push rates down lower. And what does that do with them? And that takes the pressure off the the high PE ratio stocks, and that would be a massive support for the FANG names, the high tech flyers, the high growth stocks, the FANG stocks, and that will of course have a very positive outcome on the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq, which are heavily weighted with these FANG names. So I don't think that the market has much further to go. And I do think a bottom is near, and I think it will be either before, on, or just after the Jackson Hole Summit. Of course, another thing that we got to look out for this week is on Wednesday evening, we do hear from Nvidia. Nvidia report earnings. I suspect it's going to be very good. We heard their CEO during their recent chip event kind of whisper that they're doing very well this quarter. And as far as it goes with Nvidia, it's almost impossible to get hold of any of their chips until Q1 2024, which just means that demand is a lot higher than supply. And of course, any company that has that good problem, of course, is going to do well. So I do expect Nvidia to come out with yet again another fantastic quarter. Whether they raise guidance going forward, I'm not entirely sure. I think that's what a lot of investors will be looking out for. But if they did do that, then I think the stock would have a positive reaction, and it kind of reignites the whole AI trade. So, technically speaking, guys, I don't think the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, or the Dow have yet bottomed. I think we still have a little bit further to go. For the S&P 500, I'm looking for a move down towards 4,300 to 4,330. On the lows on Friday, we did go as low as 4,335. So we were only 5 points away from my target. Was that the low? Again, I don't think so, because other indicators that have been very successful in helping me predict bottoms in the past, like the mark, for example, still say that we have further to go. So I think that any strength that we see initially to kick off this week before the markets officially open, I think it offers a fantastic opportunity to fade the markets here, as I do expect us to have one final push lower. I think that the 10-year yield does also, have a thread of perhaps piercing to new highs. Maybe we'll go to 4.4% before then falling back down lower, because also on my DeMark indicators, it's still showing another 1 to 2 weeks until these would be considered overbought, showing a 13 sign. So I do expect the markets to continue their move lower to putting one final low. Whether that comes this week or next week, I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to continue to keep you guys updated on my YouTube channel. But yeah, as we go into Friday, of course, Jerome Powell is going to be very, very worried about this rising 10-year bond yield, as it will break things as it has done in the past. And I think that he could potentially try and influence the bond market. And of course, that will have a positive effect on the US stock market. So I think these are things that you've got to really consider as we work our way through the trading week. But I'm going to leave that all with you. I've just updated my daily market research over in my signal team, as well as a sell signal in my Nasdaq100 this morning. If you'd like to get involved in that trade team, then make sure you scan this QR code. It will take you to my website where you can sign up for completely free. You get 1 month free trial in this service. It gives you access to my daily market signals, as well as my daily market research. And all you got to do is scan that QR code. It takes 5 seconds to get involved, and you can cancel at any time. So if you don't enjoy the service, if you don't enjoy what I'm sending you, then that's absolutely fine. You can cancel without being charged. And so thank you very much for tuning in for today's video. I look forward to seeing you all over on Telegram.